The story of the Saraswati River in the Indus Valley Civilization is like peeling back the layers of time itself, diving deep into the heart of ancient India, a land where myth and history dance hand in hand under the gaze of the stars. Long ago, before the echoes of modern cities filled the air, there flowed a mighty river known as Saraswati. She wasn't just a river, she was revered as a goddess, the embodiment of wisdom, knowledge, art, and speech. In Vedic hymns, Saraswati was praised not only for her divine grace, but also for her immense physical presence. She was described as flowing in majesty with waters that nourished life and inspired the soul. It was believed that her waters once roared with a force that could rival the Ganges and the Yamuna. Some say she was born from the Himalayas, coursing through the vast plains of what is now northwestern India and eastern Pakistan, only to vanish mysteriously into the sands of the Thar Desert. But this is no ordinary vanishing. The drying up of Saraswati is wrapped in both poetry and geology. Satellite imagery and ground surveys have revealed what looks like an ancient riverbed, the ghost of a once mighty river, called the Ghaggar-Hakra in today's terminology. This has led many to believe that the Saraswati of legend may indeed have been real, a river that once flowed parallel to the Indus, cradling one of the most advanced and enigmatic civilizations the world has ever known, the Indus Valley Civilization. Now imagine this civilization, not of kings and conquerors, but of artisans, traders, engineers, and urban planners. Around 2600 BCE, while pyramids were rising in Egypt and Mesopotamians were inscribing their tablets, a civilization blossomed in the Indus and Saraswati River basins. It was vast, stretching from present-day Pakistan deep into western India. Cities like Harappa, Mohenjo-Daro, Dholavira, Rakhigarhi, and Lothal stood like jewels in the desert, each uniquely planned with grid-like streets, sophisticated drainage systems, and even public baths. There was a quiet brilliance in their simplicity. No grand monuments for kings, no war memorials, no palaces shouting power, just harmony in architecture and a thriving economy built on trade, agriculture, and crafts. Saraswati, flowing strong in the early days, might have been the lifeline of these cities. The fertile plains it watered supported agriculture and attracted settlers. Along its banks, people crafted exquisite pottery, carved seals with undeciphered scripts, and conducted trade with distant lands. They lived in brick houses, wore jewelry, used measuring scales, and built dockyards, testament to a society both practical and prosperous. But nature, ever mysterious, began to shift. Geological changes, possibly a massive tectonic upheaval or climatic changes, led to the river drying up gradually. Without its nourishing waters, the cities along Saraswati began to fade. The desert began its silent march, swallowing what remained. People migrated, perhaps eastward towards the Ganges plains, carrying with them not just memories but seeds of culture and language that would echo through the Vedic age and beyond. And so, while the Saraswati River may no longer shimmer under the sun, her essence lives on, in verses of the Rig Veda, in the ruins of Dholavira and Kalibangan, and perhaps deep within the Indian psyche. She is the river of memory, where history flows into mythology and mythology folds back into history, a quiet, sacred current that refuses to be forgotten. There's something hauntingly poetic about the Saraswati. Unlike the Ganges or the Yamuna, whose waters still touch millions, Saraswati became a whisper, more powerful in absence than in presence. In the Rig Veda, which is possibly one of the oldest texts known to mankind, the river is described not as a minor stream, but as a mighty, thunderous force. Ambitam Nadatam Devatame Saraswati. O best of mothers, O best of rivers, O best of goddesses. These aren't just devotional words, they reflect awe, reverence, dependence. The Vedic people who composed these hymns likely lived alongside the dying breaths of this river. Imagine their poets sitting under the stars, listening to the changing winds, watching once lush riverbanks crack under the heat of the sun, trying to immortalize her in verse before her waters vanished. Perhaps that's why Saraswati became more than a river. She became divine, because gods do not dry up and disappear. Now, as Saraswati began to fade from the landscape, the cities of the Indus Valley, especially those along the Ghaggar-Hakra basin, began to adapt. Sites like Kalibangan and Banawali, both in modern-day Rajasthan and Haryana, are thought to have sat right beside the ancient Saraswati's course. These were not crude settlements. Kalibangan, for example, had a sophisticated grid layout, and archaeologists found the remains of a plowed field there, one of the earliest evidences of plowing in the ancient world. The people knew how to work the land, and they lived in peace with nature until nature herself began to withdraw. Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa, which were further west near the Indus, continued to flourish for a while longer. The Indus River, unlike Saraswati, remained consistent, but the soul of the civilization was slowly drying up. Trade routes became difficult, agricultural lands turned barren, and monsoon patterns possibly shifted. The lifeblood of these meticulously planned cities grew thin, and yet, even in decline, they left behind mysteries that keep calling us. The famous Indus script, over 4,000 inscriptions discovered so far, remains undeciphered. Each seal, each tablet, is like a locked door waiting for the right key. We don't know what language they spoke. We don't know their kings because they might not have had any. There's almost no evidence of warfare or violence. No large-scale weapons, no fortresses built in fear. It seems they governed through some kind of collective, harmonious structure, a civilization that thrived without an empire. And when the end finally came, it wasn't sudden. It was a slow retreat. The river shifted, people moved, cities emptied, but nothing was destroyed. The Indus Valley didn't fall like Rome. It simply ebbed away, like the very river it grew from. But the story doesn't end there. The people didn't vanish. They migrated. Many scholars believe they moved eastward, merging into the evolving Vedic culture, bringing with them their craftsmanship, agricultural knowledge, and urban planning instincts. Over centuries, the echo of Saraswati was woven into the spiritual fabric of India, into temples, rituals, and sacred chants. Even today, at the Triveni Sangam in Prayagraj, pilgrims believe Saraswati meets the Ganga and Yamuna, invisible but present, a spiritual undercurrent beneath the visible waters. In modern times, scientists have used satellite imagery, paleochannels, and archaeological digs to trace Saraswati's dry bed. It's a river that refuses to be forgotten. Her story, and that of the Indus-Saraswati civilization, is not just ancient history. It is a mirror to what civilization can be when it values sustainability, peace, and balance with nature. So now, whenever you see cracked earth or an ancient brick or a quiet desert under the moon, remember, somewhere beneath it may lie a city that once hummed with life and a river that once sang hymns of wisdom. Somewhere beneath the sands etched into forgotten stones, a single tear of the Saraswati still flows, a memory that once became a river but could never be erased. The Indus Valley Civilization didn't just give us history, it showed us what humanity can achieve when it chooses harmony over conquest, sustainability over greed, and wisdom over war. And though the Saraswati may have vanished from the map, she continues to flow in our stories, in our heritage, and in the quiet spaces where the past still whispers. If you found this journey into ancient India fascinating, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more untold stories from the roots of civilization. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.